The kidnapping and murder of Krzysztof Olewnik, Poland. In the night of October 26, 2001, 25-year-old Krzysztof Olewnik returned to his family home in Drobin, a quiet town in Poland. He had spent the evening with friends, nothing unusual, nothing that hinted this would be the last normal night of his life. Sometime after midnight, the house fell silent. Then, everything changed. Unknown attackers broke into the Olewnik residence. The details remain chilling. Krzysztof was beaten, overpowered, and abducted from his own bedroom. The kidnappers left behind subtle traces of violence, but not enough to immediately reveal the scale of the crime. By morning, Krzysztof was gone. At first, confusion dominated. Family members believed he may have simply left. But as hours turned into panic, reality became unavoidable. This was not a disappearance. This was a kidnapping. Soon after, the first ransom demand arrived. The kidnappers contacted the family, demanding a massive sum of money. The calls were cold, calculated, terrifying. Krzysztof was alive, at least according to the voices on the phone. Proof of life was provided. His family clung desperately to hope. Negotiations dragged on for months. Police became involved, yet the investigation quickly grew complicated. Leads were unclear. Suspects surfaced and vanished. Communication with the kidnappers was erratic, controlled entirely by them. The Olewnik family lived in a nightmare of uncertainty, fear, and psychological torture. Years passed. Despite repeated contacts and promises, Krzysztof never returned. Then came the devastating truth. In 2006, nearly 5 years after the abduction, investigators made a horrifying discovery. Krzysztof Olewnik had been murdered shortly after his kidnapping. He had spent his final days held captive, abused, and ultimately strangled by his captors. For his family, the revelation was catastrophic. For the public, it was incomprehensible. But the darkness of the case deep. Further, authorities arrested multiple suspects connected to the crime. The story seemed to be approaching resolution. Yet, what followed turned the case into one of the most disturbing scandals in Polish criminal history. One by one, key suspects began dying, in prison, under mysterious circumstances. Some were officially ruled suicides, others raised immediate suspicion. These deaths ignited a storm of controversy. How could individuals central to one of Poland's most important criminal cases repeatedly die while in state custody? Questions multiplied. Public trust eroded. The investigation itself came under intense criticism. Allegations of procedural failures, negligence, and potential corruption surfaced. Media outlets relentlessly examined every detail. The case transformed from a tragic kidnapping into a symbol of systemic dysfunction. For years, the Olewnik family fought for answers. They challenged authorities. They demanded transparency. They pushed for accountability. The tragedy of Krzysztof's death became intertwined with broader concerns about justice, policing, and institutional integrity. Despite convictions and official conclusions, unease persisted. Many believed the full truth was never uncovered. Many believed critical elements remained hidden. To this day, the case continues to provoke debate in Poland, not only because of the brutality of the crime, but because of the unsettling chain of events that followed. The investigative controversies, the unexplained prison deaths, the lingering doubts. At its core lies a deeply human tragedy. A young man taken from his home. A family subjected to years of torment. A nation left questioning its own systems. The kidnapping and murder of Krzysztof Olewnik remains one of Poland's most haunting criminal cases. A story not only of violence, but of mystery, failure, and unresolved shadows.